Hello once again, I'm Pratham Balal.
And I'm Part Joshi.
We're now working with the Dublin High administration to launch another project, Adulting 101.
This podcast is going to feature 10-minute conversations with Dublin High teachers teaching us lessons they wish they knew in high school. All of these episodes will be found by navigating to the Virtual Wellness Center from the Dublin High School website.
Today's guest is Miss Anderton. She is an English teacher at DHS, and today she's going to join us to discuss financial literacy. Please say hello to Miss Anderton.
Hi, Miss Anderton. Okay, so for all the students who haven't been introduced to you yet, tell us a little bit about your history with today's topic, financial literacy.
So as a teacher myself, I went to college and applied for student loans and used student loans to get my bachelor's degree. And then just, I think like all humans, my financial literacy has just come from, making mistakes and learning from those mistakes and asking advice from friends and peers and family. And that's about it.
Yeah, let's get started right away with the making mistakes portion. Adults everywhere say they wish they could save money sooner. So for some, that can mean saving money as soon as freshman year. So what tips can you offer and maybe habits you can tell us about things freshmen can do to start saving money now?
So I think like the main tip that took me a little bit to realize was that, having that money in your hand can really, burn it really quickly, right? You have it, oh, wow, it looks like so much. And it's really easy to spend when you have cash on hand. So I think having a bank account is like step number one. My first job in high school, I worked at Safeway, and I remember getting my first paycheck and going to the bank and cashing it. And, it just seemed to disappear from that point. But as soon as I got a bank account and deposited it, I started thinking about like, okay, well, how much do I want to spend? How much goes in the checking? How much goes in the saving? So I think that tip is the first like tip that I learned for myself is have a bank account. And then other than that, just like thinking about priorities. Sometimes like not having a plan, like where you want to spend your money in the future, makes it easier to not feel like you want to hold on to some of that cash.
Yeah, let's talk about bank accounts. Tell us maybe some must-know things about bank accounts. The different types of bank accounts would be a good place to start.
So I know there's a lot of options out there. I would say talk to your family or your friends about the bank accounts that they use. It is a very personal choice. I started with Washington Mutual as a kid, and they grew up and turned into Chase. I also use Wells Fargo. I have family members that use Bank of America. But you really want to like look into the different benefits that they offer to you. Like, do they give you free checking? Do they offer you interest on your savings account? Are they going to charge you to use their credit card? So kind of just doing your research. I know that credit unions can be a really useful tool. I haven't quite looked into them yet, but when I think about buying a house and whatnot, credit unions, I believe, are more local and they have a lot more flexibility. But yeah, just kind of looking at the perks that they're willing to offer you.
Yeah, and all banks are different. I know me with my Wells Fargo account, I like checking like my bank statements and stuff online, and so that is a really good tip. You talked a little bit about credit unions and their locality. I think the difference between a credit union and a bank is something that we can explore on a later episode. But typically, sophomore and junior students start to get their own income via jobs during the summer or something, right? So is there anything they should know before getting their first paycheck and like where they should deposit it?
I would think we'll set up that bank account for one. Some banks will charge you a fee to start a checking account, so have that in mind. But I just think just really being aware of what you want to do with that money, because it's easy to get a job, right? And it's easy to take those shifts, but just like having a plan for it helps you be more intentional with your spending. So if you're thinking about like, I'm going to be living in the dorms, but I want to have a really cool dorm setup. What kind of things are, I like to have brand new textbooks instead of buying used ones from the bookstore, or I want to be able to buy my own food without eating at the school cafeteria. So just like thinking about who you are and what you like the most.
Yeah, and I see what you did there is a little bit of something called like budgeting, right? It's trying to get your needs versus your wants, right? And then taking them and then creating a plan for how much you can spend on what you need and how much you can spend on what you want. So tell us a little bit more about the importance of budgeting and just a little bit about that.
So I like what you're saying about the needs and the wants, because we all have a lot of wants. And sometimes we don't know about the needs. So I will kind of just share a funny fact about me. A lot of my money from my first job went to purchasing brand new tires for my car. So I had like a hot rod Mustang 5-liter GT nonsense vehicle, and I was a great car, but in high school I just got my license, so I'm like skidding around and burning my tires out and doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And I had to purchase a lot of tires, and they were very expensive. So a lot of my first income for the first like couple years of my life was spent on tires and gasoline. You know, it costs money to go pick up your friend. It costs money to go get that third boba. So I like what you're saying about keeping track of your spending on the Wells Fargo app. The new thing that I really like is that a lot of those apps will break down your spending for the month. So you can look over by month and by year and kind of just see where you're siphoning your funds to, just to be aware and make new choices for your future.
Exactly, yeah. So basically you talked about getting a paycheck, right? But for me, when I had my first job as a cashier, I was being paid, I think it was somewhere around like 13 something an hour, right? But then when at the end of the year, when I had to like look at how much money I made, it was not that value. So why does money get cut out, and what is it called?
Yeah, so you always think you're going to get more. And even that's true as an adult, my own self, you know, you think that there's going to be more money in that paycheck, but there's a lot of taxes that come out based on income taxes in the state that you live in. Sometimes you have to pay into like medical, or like here as a teacher, I pay into the union. And so there are little deductions that come out of your paycheck. You can look at those at the printout if you get like a physical printed copy of your paycheck and kind of keep track of them. I think it's really important to stay on top of them just because sometimes there might be an accidental deduction coming out. But more often than not, it's like Social Security and income tax to help support the state that you live in.
Absolutely. And then on the paycheck, they're so nice about leaving a cumulative total about how much they've taken from you already that year. And then
It's painful. It's very painful.
the total just keeps going up. So let's turn to seniors who are now applying to college. What should students know about the financial aid process?
It's very complicated, but more than complicated, it's very time consuming. So it takes time to sit down, fill out the forms. You can't always do them by yourself. You need information from your parents or from your job or from your school, or from the school that you're applying to. So you want to make sure that you give yourself a lot of time to kind of get through that. And along with that goes frustration. Like it's not the easiest thing to do just because you have to get it just right and tweak it as you go. So giving yourself just the grace to kind of forgive yourself if it's not going well. So you can walk away for a minute, let the website do what it's going to do, maybe update, maybe there's an error going through, maybe there's too many people on there at that point in time. So just, you know, being as patient as you can, and then taking advantage of resources available to you. So every year, Dublin High School puts on the Cash for College night, where they actually hire professional advisors to come in and walk you through the FAFSA application itself. And I don't know if you've ever like had to sit on a phone line waiting for like tech support, but the nice thing about those professionals at those Cash for College nights is they like bypass that tech support. Either A, they already know the answer, or B, they call and they have like a secret little code which puts them in the front of the line. So it's kind of nice. That usually happens in October. I don't know what that will look like this, or actually I think last year it was in November. I don't know what that will look like this year with distance learning, but keep your eye out. I think East Bay puts it on. If I hear of anything, I'll let you guys know so you can push it out. But yeah, it's called Cash for College. And then in addition to that, if you already kind of have an idea of the school that you want to go to, a lot of schools have like college expos right now where you can actually visit online virtually the college expo and they will talk to you about financial aid directly related to them. So like one that's coming up recently, I think I bulleted for you guys, is the College Information Day. It's the 43rd annual one from East Bay, Solano County. And that's going to be October 10th. So you can sign up online for that one. Mrs. Nobita has a lot of those college expos available online if you go check out her career website.
Yeah, and that actually transitioned into something I was going to say. The College and Career Center at DHS has a ton of different opportunities, as well as just they can help you with anything related to college or a career. I know me, I just got my work permit issued from them, and it was so quick. They got it turned around in like 24 hours. It was amazing.
Yeah, and she's updating it constantly. So like
Yeah,
she's got like a WUI College Expo right now for out-of-state colleges. She's got a Black College Expo, a Latino one. Mrs. Nobita is on it.
Yep. Okay, so on top of like financial aid, you can also get scholarships, right? And so a lot of students they apply to like 2 or 3 scholarships and just like the top big ones for like $10,000, $20,000. Are there any other tips for getting like more scholarships or more money, something like that?
Yeah, my tip is apply, 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 apply. You know, you can get financial aid, but a lot of times with financial aid, you have to pay that back. And you've probably seen some of the horror stories on Twitter or online where people are talking about like, I'm never going to pay off these student loans. And that's a real fear. So the more scholarships that you can apply for, the better. And in my experience and in the experience of talking with a lot of educators here on campus, sometimes Dublin High students just don't apply. And so they have scholarships go by that no one's applied to and nobody gets the money. And then I've heard like even more extreme circumstances where like a female has applied to like a male athletic scholarship, but because no male athletes applied for the scholarship, they got it. And so, you know, when in doubt, apply it out. It's really just a numbers game. In high school, I received the most amount of scholarships of anyone on campus, and it was not because I was valedictorian. It was not because I had like this big sob story. It was just that I spent each evening, you know, towards college season applying online. You know, oh, here's another one my counselor told me about. Oh, here's one right here. And there's a lot of different scholarships out there to fit your needs. So if you're not really into writing an essay, not all of them require an essay. Some of them just require a letter of recommendation. Some of them just literally require you to fill out a form. So again, back to Mrs. Nobita, she has a website that she updates constantly. The last time she updated it was on 9/21, and she's got deadlines, descriptions, dollar amounts, links, all stuff available for you guys. But yeah, apply, apply, apply. That's my biggest recommendation.
That seems like a great suggestion. Thank you, Miss Anderton, for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for listening to our episode about financial literacy.
Yeah, I hope everyone learned something from it because I sure did.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.